Throughout the appointment, as they explain things to you, as they ask more questions, as the flow goes forward, you might need to ask some questions to slow it down or to better understand. So what makes a healthcare conversation hard to understand? It's hard to understand healthcare conversations because they can happen too quickly. The speed is very quick, the appointments are very short. It can happen because complex ideas are being presented, or new words, medical jargon is being used, or they're assuming that you know more than you maybe do know about a particular issue or diagnosis. They force decisions on the spot. Legally, you usually have at least 24 hours, unless you are in an absolute emergency situations, to make your decisions. So do take the time that you need and let them know, hey, I need a day before I decide what I'm going to do with this. And discussing sensitive or personal topics. This can be really difficult because for a lot of us, there are certain topics that we aren't comfortable discussing. And we need to remind ourselves that when it comes to healthcare providers, there's no taboo around it, and they're not looking at it in the same way we are. They're looking at it from a purely medical standpoint. So it's important to put that in our minds when we do need to talk about something that feels sensitive to us. So how do we do this? How do we slow that conversation down? Because if we ask for more time at the front end, and sometimes you can try and book appointments back to back so that you have to, but not every place will allow you to do that. And a lot of places, if you say, can I have more time? They'll go, no, sorry, we just don't have the ability or the capacity to do that. So you need to build it into your conversation. And so some of the things you can do to slow that conversation down is, please explain this a bit more. A very simple sentence, but very effective, more effective than saying, can you slow down? Because quite naturally, when someone does slow down, they very quickly resume their usual pace. It's just a natural flow of how we communicate. Another sentence you could use, can you tell me what that word means? This one is incredibly effective because this one not only gets you a definition of a word you might not have understood, but it stops the healthcare provider in their tracks and it tells them more information. You don't understand this word. Maybe I need to change my approach and how I'm communicating this. I forgot that everybody is not in this world every day and knowing all that's going on. Can we write down an action plan together? This one is better for some situations than others, definitely better with, for instance, a nurse practitioner, physiotherapist, pharmacist, these sorts of people. A lot harder to do sometimes with your primary care physician, but definitely ask and see what happens. You might be surprised. Or, I didn't get that. Can you say it again? Again, very simple sentences that can slow that conversation down. Other times, we need to clarify. There's, you're hearing everything. The conversation isn't too fast, but the information is so complex that you need to slow the conversation, or you need to get clarity. So you can have this talk back strategy. You say something like, this is what I'm hearing you say. Is that right? Or if this happens, what are my options? What can I do? Or I thought you said this. Is that what you're saying? Make sure that in your own words and your own understanding, it actually matches what the healthcare provider is explaining. And then those wonderful questions back from primary school days, the when, where, why, and hows. Ask as many of those as you can, because it will give you clarity. So maybe they're saying, I'm going to refer you to a specialist. Okay. When is the appointment likely to happen? Where will that take place? Why that specialist? How am I supposed to prepare for that appointment? What can I do while I'm waiting for that appointment?